back to Synergy Bonus. 3 guys that like to sit around and talk about games while drinking. Or drink because we talk about games.
Or drink
because Doug kills his dog.
This is why I drink. Also because you fake the throw when you have the ball.
They're going to need some context. We'll leave a link at the end of the video. What are we talking about today?
Alright, so...
The fact that I drink because of you.
I drink because of you sometimes, too. We drink because of each other, yay!
That means we're friends!
Friends let other friends drink because we're monsters. Speaking of monsters, what are we talking about, Trev?
With friends like this, someone needs a liver transplant. Alright. Tonight we're taking our first stab at the Chronicles of Darkness.
The shits are here.
We'll get into that. And right on the heels of our Hunter the Reckoning video, this is going to be Hunter the Vigil, the spiritual successor. Released by White Wolf Publishing in August of 2008. August 14th, actually, so we just missed the 10-year anniversary. Darn.
I don't know. White Wolf doesn't have a lot of appreciation for things that aren't vampire, I feel.
It's not vampire. It's not changeling. It's not mage. That means they sent in the B team.
Well, that and Vampire is the game that pays the bills. That's the one that makes the money. So, of course...
Mage is the cool one.
And Werewolf's the fun one.
They're all fun.
He is true. They're all fun. But... Hunter the Vigil.
Except for Promethean. Fuck you, Promethean.
We don't actually...
What about Geist?
Haven't read it yet. Don't know.
The Sin Eaters.
So anyhow, as was established, this is a New World of Darkness game. And the first thing that we really hate about New World of Darkness is that in order to play any of the games, you have to buy 2 books.
The World of Darkness core and the game that you're going to be playing.
Yep.
In this case, Hunter the Vigil.
The Vigil.
You can't generate a character without the core.
The interesting part about that is you can run a prelude, which I have done, and that's kind of fun. I'm not going to knock that. But every game basically uses the World of Darkness rule set, and then you add on the other set to it.
Add on the template is the term that they use
Template, yeah.
in the thing. And Hunter's no different, except that it is. Whereas in the other games, you'll be adding on a template for a vampire or a werewolf or what have you. In this one, you're still just a regular run-of-the-mill human, and you don't even get the cool supernatural powers that you had in Hunter the Reckoning.
And that's
Instead, you have the power of more bullets, and that's only if you choose right.
Well, that and you have group talents, I think was the term that they used. Or
Tactics.
Tactics and techniques. Essentially, they introduced this idea of 2 different types of experience. There's the regular experience points you get, which increase the abilities of your own character. And then there's this group experience that the group can spend on tactics, which...
kind of suck.
They're very thematic, but they're very situational.
Like the one tactic for 2 people hold the vampire down, the other guy stakes him.
Actually, what I was thinking was same tactic, but 2 guys grapple the vampire holding its arms, and then one guy hits it in the face with a golf club or something, or kicks it in the teeth and knocks out its fangs, preventing it from using its bite attack.
It kills me that has to be in the book, because that's still something Synergy itself lends itself to.
I mean, that just screams the standard D&D tactic of,
Kill
I'm grappling it,
Someone
hit them,
do something.
and don't screw up.
Which is exactly what it is. But you have to spend special experience points for it.
I hate this so much, I'm glad I died via bear traps.
But that's a different war story.
One that I don't even remember.
Barely a war story.
I don't even really remember, except I died via bear traps.
I think you were a game warden.
Well, I knew that fact. I think I would have understood that bear traps hurt.
Before we kind of dive into a little more of the meat of this, what differentiates system-wise from Old World to New World or Chronicles? It's still a D10 system.
Yep.
Successes are different, correct? Instead of your standard 6 and up, it's higher now or something.
It can be. It depends on...
I mean, of course, it's all up to the GM at the end of the day, but...
And a lot of it depends on the template you're using, but in general, 7 and up is your successes now, which means it's more
for some
difficult.
reason I thought it was 8.
You've got a little bit around a quarter of a chance.
Yeah. and that chance is increased exponentially by the number of dice you add to your pool. It still has the ability plus attribute thing going on.
It's similar to how Shadowrun ran on 4 and up, and then eventually switched over to 5 and up.
One of the big changes that they've done is that they've eliminated nature and demeanor because that kind of pigeonholes you too much, and instead they've instilled virtue and vice, and it's literally the 7 virtues and the 7 deadly sins. And they give you a lot of broad room for interpretation. Gluttony doesn't have to mean food. It could very easily be applied to you're a glutton for money, but that's also kind of greed, or you're a glutton for physical gratification, but that's also lust.
Chastity full third configuration. Sorry,
I'm sitting here going, like, what if, like, the overarching drive of the character is an urge for justice?
That would actually fall under the virtues.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting there, there's not a single one of the noble virtues that really matches up with justice properly. It's one of those, it doesn't quite fall in the categories, whereas the old nature and demeanors, it's like, okay, bon vivant and monster. It's like, okay, that's a weird paradox.
It's kind of a cool
At the same time, I get behind that guy.
Yeah.
It beats my whole curmudgeon Survivor.
Bon vivant and monster, that's basically
Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. But it does have some interesting pairings, like your justice guy, if you could figure out what his virtue was, his vice could be anything. It could be wrath, probably, where he goes...
Yeah, that would be like the Inspector Javert.
I was actually going to go with Frank Castle, but yeah, that's a better example.
I like that example, actually.
So yeah, very, very good. But the other big thing...
No. Javert would be pride. He won't admit that he's wrong.
True.
But the other thing.
Yeah. They've retooled how willpower works a little bit. Each of the individual lines have retooled a bit of their mechanics, and we'll go into those at other dates for those other lines. Again, the big thing that differentiates Hunter the Vigil from Hunter the Reckoning is there's no conviction pool. You've got no creeds, no edges. Don't!
Living on the edge!
You've got no creeds, no...
I avoided that joke to go for a different one.
Yeah, didn't work. You're still a monster from the last video.
We know what my nature is.
And willpower is a lot more involved in everything, and you use it a lot more often. It plays into a lot more of your abilities and powers.
What is this shit-eating grid right now? What can't you contain? Let's get it out for the class.
Because I have my arms wide open.
I was already there a minute ago.
So anyhow, because we don't have the messengers and we don't have HunterNet and all of the usual ways for people to come together, and also because these Hunter, they refer to them as compacts and conspiracies, have much more history. They go back a lot longer than 1999, the messengers arrive. Take back the night.
Take back the night.
You really are more cells, but...
Yeah. This game really focuses more on cells. There are considered to be 3 tiers of hunters. The first tier are nobodies off the street who either fell into this by happenstance or maybe are going through the initiation process of getting into one of the larger organizations but aren't there yet. The second tier consists of compacts. These are smaller, localized groups that don't necessarily have global reach and influence. They are the Long Night, which is kind of like the Inquisition, but light and Protestant. They're very much a case of monsters are a product of human sin and failing, and our job is to stand vigil into the long night and make sure that they don't take advantage of the normal human beings.
I already don't like these guys.
Yeah. There's Null Mysteries, who are... This one could be fun. They're a bunch of skeptics whose purpose is literally to go out there and fight monsters to prove that they aren't really monsters. They're just that guy in a rubber mask. It's playing Scooby-Doo.
So, what's his name? Randy?
Yeah.
I forget what his first name is, but last name is Randy. The skeptic debunks everything.
Yeah.
But with a flamethrower.
Yeah, basically.
I like these guys.
Yeah. Next one is one that I think makes a more interesting antagonist than a player group. They're called Network Zero. I know, it's New World. It's awful.
Sorry, I went to the dentist today and my jaw hurts. I'm tired. It's New World. That's the big problem.
It's New World. That's the bigger problem.
Network Zero are a bunch of multimedia guys that want to use everything from shortwave radio to social networking to capture monsters on video and prove that they exist to the world.
There's a Squatch in them woods.
Yep.
Squatch in the woods.
So
Ghost Hunters. Yeah.
It's Conspiracy Theories, the YouTube channel.
Yeah, basically. Yep.
We have this shaky cam photo of a vampire eating a hobo. That or someone giving a hardcore hickey. We don't know. You decide.
Like I said, they'd be fantastic if you were playing like a Vampire the Requiem game and you needed somebody who was a reporter who was about to breach the masquerade. These guys.
Except it's Requiem and they don't have a masquerade.
Yes, they do. But that's a different video. The next one down is the Union, which is exactly what it sounds like. They're a bunch of blue-collar workers who got together, and their bigger focus is on making sure that everybody is unionized and standing up against the bourgeoisie. But they fight monsters on the side because, monsters are a threat to their friends and family, but the real threat are the corporate overlords.
I'm gonna go and keep my mouth shut for about 5 minutes.
Probably for the best. The next one is one that I think is actually kind of fun, and these guys are called Ashwood Abbey. And they're basically a modern Hellfire club.
Okay, I lied. You got less than 5 seconds.
Full of hedonists. And their whole shtick is, we're going to do a lot of drugs and then hunt a monster. No, monsters are real, I swear.
Synergy!
Snort some cocaine, we're going to stake a vampire. Just put a stake in
Fuck that shit, that's not hardcore enough. Snort this cocaine off a katana. We're going to go kill a werewolf.
And we're going to run there. We're
going to videotape it so I can jack off later.
And that's Ashwood Abbey in a nutshell.
Jordan would all be about these guys.
Hand me the bullet.
Okay, I'm going to have to go home and get my 45.
Ooh. We're not that kind of hunting group.
He said the bullet. He didn't specify.
The last one out of the core book is called The Loyalists of Thule or Thule?
Thule.
I'd say Thule.
These are just the last of the...
That's the anglicized pronunciation. It's German, and even then it's the German interpretation of, I think, Greek?
Atlantis.
So we have no frickin' pronunciation guide there, so let's just go with English because it makes sense and we're Anglophones.
Thule it is. These guys fervently believe that Atlantis and Lemuria and Mu were real, and they came really damn close to proving it. And the natural logical extrapolation of that is that there is, in fact, a superior race or Ubermensch. And you can see where we're going with this.
They really screwed up when they were reading Nietzsche.
These guys, Nietzsche was actually a member.
Nietzsche wouldn't have been a member. That's frickin' Aleister Crowley.
Yeah. They inadvertently gave rise to the occult branch of the Third Reich.
Honestly, I feel like a certain group of mages would definitely be all about, interested in these people and everything. Like
Old World Mage.
No, New World Mage.
Oh yeah, that's right. New World is the Atlanteans, whereas Old World was, hi, we're angels.
Correct.
Fuck you.
And those are like the second tier groups out of the core book. And each of them goes into a great deal more detail, and they just get more and more fucked up, and I hate these guys as you go. But those are the broad overviews.
We didn't reference, so Task Force Valkyrie is in the core?
The third tier group. They're in the core book.
Okay.
Those are conspiracies, not compacts.
I like these guys.
We're going to start with Task Force Valkyrie just because I want to see if Thrick's erection can lift the table. These guys are a super secret paramilitary government organization that draws from all of the branches of the CIA, the FBI, the Marines, the SEALs.
Department of Agriculture.
Yeah.
They're Delta Green.
It's like, hi, we're White Wolf. We heard you guys like Delta Green. Here's totally not Delta Green.
But anyhow, their job is to work within governments, be it the American government or, be like MI6 with the British government or whatever, and find monsters that might be attempting to control or coerce important government public figures.
And introduce them to superior firepower.
And introduce them to superior firepower, or if they can, control the monster that is controlling the politician.
We got you by your monstrous balls.
I.e. that entire arc of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where Spike got captured by the government conspiracy and they implanted a microchip in his skull that prevented him from feeding on humans.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
And he got all of his anger out by beating the shit out of demons.
Yep.
I like Spike, but that was really a douche move, U.S. government.
Yeah. So with our particular group, this one would probably work fairly well. We do love our gun porn. But
well, yes, I would like to discuss the merits of the 5.56 battle rifle.
Another video. The next one down the list is the Luciferge, which are...
Lucifuge, that's out of Ars Goetia.
This is why we keep him around. They're literally Nephilim, the children of fallen angels and humans, half-breeds, and they're trying to atone for their very existence by hunting worse things to keep humanity safe.
That wouldn't help you with Lucifuge. Lucifuge, never mind, occultist.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not great. They could be made interesting by a really talented and really dedicated GM, but as presented, they're not awesome. The next is the Cherion group, which I'm...
Hi, we heard you like the Celestial Choir from Mage.
Close. Hi, we heard you like Orpheus.
I like Orpheus.
I like Orpheus because fuck you, Tourette's Hulk.
They're literally a group of corporate hunters.
Okay, I was definitely thinking of a different group.
Yes, you are. And their whole shtick is that they're using technology to integrate monster body parts into their willing victims to give them the powers of the various monsters so that they could go out and hunt bigger and better monsters. And to what end, I don't know. It's a lot of blah, blah, corporations evil.
But at the same time, if I remember, Task Force Valkyrie actually crosses over on that regard.
An awful lot, yeah.
But then again, hi, military-industrial complex.
Task Force Valkyrie likes to make weapons out of the monsters. The Cherion group...
Like ghost killer bullets.
Yeah. The Cherion group likes to integrate and make monsters out of their operatives.
Here's a monster cut. Go do something.
Yeah.
Brazzers! It's featuring Mandingo.
Okay. The next group is the Aegis Kaidorn. Greek.
Yeah, Aegis.
Aegis, yep. Sorry, I played way too much of...
well, technically...
Right there with you.
Aegis.
Regardless.
Yeah. These are...
After image.
A little bit of motion blur there?
A little bit of real life motion blur.
Alright.
Oh god, go and increase the resolution of your game.
I has a sad. Obviously, these guys have their origins in ancient Greece. They're relic hunters, and they're sort of a pseudo-religious order and all that. They remind me a lot of Belmonts.
That's kind of cool. Like, not gonna lie, that is kind of cool.
Ditch the Greek aspect, and I'm all about that.
They've extended.
I'm your Boppy!
Oh god, they're fucking Italian, nuke 'em!
They could be. But I mean, like...
Wait. I will communicate to you in the language of your people.
What's about a Hungulu?
I don't understand. Boopity boppity, boopity boppity.
Jesus. You see what I have to work with.
Dude, I've not eaten today, and I've had like 4
glasses of giggle juice. This is
I kind of feel bad.
Yeah.
It's past.
He cared that much. By that much, I mean just like that much, actually.
He killed his dog.
We're back to this again. Jesus.
Yeah. The next group are the Ascending Ones, who are a group that have their origins out of Egypt, and
They sound like a 1960s cult about aliens coming down to take them from rooftops.
Aliens.
Kind of. No, they're actually invested in ancient Egyptian alchemy and its applications.
Oh, Cometicism.
Yes. And its application towards ridding the world of monsters, mostly so they can harvest parts from the monsters to make better potions.
I'm all about this.
Yeah.
They're like the other group, except they turn it into something instead of putting it onto someone.
Yeah. They spill over a little bit into a lot of the lore from the old Mummy the Resurrection back in Old World of Darkness.
I really want to play Mummy sometime.
You go and have your cult do a whole bunch of shit for you while you wait for 10,000 years.
No, that is the new world Mummy.
Oh, okay.
Actually, that's Exalt. Actually,
Yeah, that might be actually be Exalted.
I saw there was a merit for Exalted with a cult. I'm like, that's awesome. 5-star cult.
Do it for me.
Whatever.
And then everyone is juvenile and they decide they're going to have a sex cult.
Naturally.
It's White Wolf.
Go ahead.
And the last one out of the core book for the tier 3 is the Malleus Maleficarum, and they're exactly what they sound like.
The Hammer of Witches.
Yep. It's literally the witch hunting branch of the Inquisition in the Catholic Church. And in this case, they never really gave up the hunt. They just kind of got more subtle about it because they realized that if you advertise your presence, the witches go to ground.
Vin Diesel's all
No.
over this.
Malleus Maleficarum was written by the Witch Hunter General, and that's after the Protestant Catholic schism, in which case frickin' the Anglican Church had divorced itself from Catholicism, and that's all Anglican.
Oddly enough, so Henry VIII could get a divorce.
Yes! I mean, at this point, the Catholics have nothing on this shit.
Yeah.
This is all the English being psychopathic English.
Yeah. But,
I mean, the English, they don't have an excuse, need an excuse.
No, sorry, this is right out of the...
Well, that just shows White Wolf doesn't do their fucking research.
They used to.
Well,
New
World versus Old World.
So, I mean, that gives you an idea of kind of what Hunter's supposed to be about. We've unfortunately given the direction and the stories that our GMs wanted to tell, never really messed with any of those or gone in that direction.
Here's the problem.
We tend to be tier 1 hunters.
Here's the problem. Grab the World of Darkness core and then grab the Hunter
Because
core.
that's 15th through 16th century.
As we mentioned, we need this book for the template. This book is that thick. The Hunter core, as you can see, is a much thicker book.
About twice as thick.
And, like, none of that's touched.
In all truth, that's basically...
We might as well just be playing this. And I feel bad because that's part of the reason I hate New World Hunter, is because...
It's New World in general, because basically, here's your player's handbook. Here's your campaign settings guide. You want to play a vampire? Here's a separate campaign setting. You want to play a mage? Here's a separate campaign setting. You want to play a mixed game? There's something wrong with you.
Here's the problem. Both times I've played this, none of us here have GM'd it. Both times I've played this, we basically just stuck to everything that was in here. Except we got experience for those tactics that we never used.
Here it is, quoted verbatim. The idea of the Inquisitor, the Catholic witch hunter of the Middle Ages, is potent. The grim-faced man with brands and scourges...
Witch hunters well far after the Middle Ages.
Strangles and drowns the innocent and guilty alike to find the truth.
I understand that White Wolf doesn't understand Christianity as a whole.
Specifically Catholicism, because the original writers, and in particular I believe it was Jessica Chili, were actually like the sons of Protestant preachers.
And this is coming from someone that's a pagan, and they don't even understand Christianity that well.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get mad.
Creating a character within the Malleus Maleficarum. You're a Catholic priest, trained as an exorcist. Your faith begins to shake before you join the Malleus Maleficarum. To be honest, it's still shaking, but you haven't had time to think about things enough for it to bother you. Yeah, Catholic.
Rah, 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 rah. Give me 10 Hail Marys and go kill a vampire.
At the end of the day, when I play New World, this is what I play. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else, nothing more.
And it can be played that way, but I wouldn't necessarily... I'm going to try that again as I'm turning around. It can be played that way, but I wouldn't necessarily call that a Hunter the Vigil game.
What the heck, too.
But like... I've played in 2 Hunter the Vigil games, and I've never...
We played in the same 2. I know you played in one of them. I don't know if you played in the other.
I think it was one of the 2 you played in, and that was the one where I was the game warden.
The game warden.
Well, technically my character didn't die. I was hospitalized, and at that point I got fed up with someone's...
That was the monster of the week where there was like an evil Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stopped playing well before Evil Santa Claus showed up.
Yeah, the other one I was thinking of was one that we ran in the South County group, and like the characters were very engaging. I got very invested in them, but we were again tier 1 hunters. We didn't have a conspiracy or a compact. The enemy was this cult of wannabe werewolves who didn't really have any shapeshifting powers or any powers at all. They were just creepy cultists out in the woods sacrificing people to some wolf skulls.
Because that's how that works.
Yeah. And, it was a fun, enjoyable game, but again, it was really... Because we never stockpiled enough of the secondary group XP, we never bought any of the tactics. We never used any of the tactics. Our biggest tactic was to give somebody a leaky gas can and shoot it. Yeah.
They were playing Worlds of Darkness, they weren't playing Hunter.
So
I'm just sitting here going, like, not only did they completely not manage to read the Lesser Keys of Solomon and Ars Goetia to even have an understanding of the Lucifuge, they didn't do the historical research about the Malleus Maleficarum to understand what the Hammer of Witches was about. I hate White Wolf.
wait till we get to Vampire the Requiem and talk about the Order Dracul, which was all set up by Dracula, the first caitiff. You'll just...
I want a punchy trap. Right now. Just...
Oh, are we going to discuss about how Dracula got kicked out of the Orthodox Church, joined up with the Catholic Church, and then, due to double crossing, got screwed over by them as well?
Yes, but in a different video.
I hate existence more so than, you know what, I already made that joke once today. I'm not going to do it a second time.
You know what?
So one of the... Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Trev.
Right. One of the other big fundamental differences between the Chronicles of Darkness and the original World of Darkness is that they stripped out the majority of the lore from the old World of Darkness and gave us... they phrased it as the New World, or at the time it was New World, now Chronicles of Darkness, was a toolkit so that you could customize your own game a lot more. And there was a lot of backlash. As we said, people stopped buying White Wolf products. It almost destroyed the company. So they started shoehorning in retroactively a whole bunch of new lore, and most of it's not good.
Alright, here's the thing. As you can see, I have a lot of shit over here on this. This bottom tier, for the most part, is all New World. Barely touched any of it. We've only touched pretty much World of Darkness. Hunter basically was World of Darkness because we just kind of scrapped the rules. We play a lot more Old World because that's more enjoyable because of the lore and whatnot.
I just asking Trav because he is the lore head out of our group for World of Darkness.
Yes, Vigo is.
Which game can I go to for them to rape the fuck out of Thelema and the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn? Because I really want to get mad today. Besides Mage. I already knew Mage.
Mage just does a pretty good job of it.
Aleister Crowley, how much of a shit can we take on him?
Probably Hunter the Vigil.
Okay. Already talking about shit, Chuck.
Yeah.
We're getting kind of long
Yeah.
here.
Well,
So.
we're probably going to edit out much of it too. But so yeah, without getting too far into the other various games, Hunter the Vigil has a lot of potential. A lot of the lore that they gave to it seems kind of shoehorned in. It did have some interesting things, like it gave us the slasher book, which was meant to be a book for the storyteller to construct Jason Voorhees style enemies or Mike Myers style.
I still just
enemies
want to run a
for your
campaign.
hunt.
Oh god, that actually seems like a more interesting game in itself.
And
You're a entire group of serial
And
killers.
that is exactly what it became.
I'm all about this. Who wants to be fucking the Terror Mask?
But another thing that's really stupid that they installed in all of the New World games is that supernaturals automatically hate each other, and they have to overcome this to socialize and form a group. It's like,
Despite the fact they set up that you can play cross settings games.
World of Darkness Chicago.
Yes, or hey, you can have a team of mages, hunters, and vampires with a werewolf leading them.
And that was the excuse for having the core book and the different templates, was that everybody was playing crossover games anyway, and in the old world, the power scales were deliberately...
If your GM was letting you play a crossover game, there was something wrong.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
Unless you executed one of those characters at the end of it...
Or this was a well set up like manipulation trick of we're going to get this person to do this for us, and if you're masterfully doing the social aspects to manipulate people, no, because the werewolf's just going to rip half of Elysium apart.
But that was White Wolf unfortunately listened to the fans and listened to the wrong fans. If you go to the forums for World of Darkness and so on, two of the things you will immediately encounter are, one, everybody does crossover games for dumb reasons, and two,
I want to play an Abomination.
Okay. Three.
Yeah. Time out. I had an Abomination in the game. You know what the goal was? Kill the Abomination.
He let me go and create a true Bruja, just so the group had the ability to counter his celerity.
But the other thing is, you will overwhelmingly see people like, oh, World of Darkness is fun as long as you scrap all of the actual lore.
The lore was the good part.
So that's exactly what White Wolf did for Chronicles of Darkness. They scrapped the lore, they balanced the mechanics, made combat more fluid, and balanced all the power sets so that having crossover groups was easier. And the end result, mechanically it works a lot better because it isn't stuck in that hoity-toity... There used to be a sort of an unofficial motto at White Wolf that good rules got in the way of good role-playing.
I can understand that, yeah.
I can't. We can be role-playing excellently, but when the time comes to throw down, I still need to roll a die to punch something.
I'm just sitting here going with the whole thing of like narrative causality, that you have left an incredibly good narrative, and it's driving the story in an aspect as a storyteller or as a DM, whatever term you want to use, I hadn't thought of, and I'm sitting here going, that's actually really fucking good. Like half the shit when I was a DM, where I just went and got really quiet when you guys announced like a conspiracy or something you came up with, I hadn't thought of that crap.
But that's awesome.
And it's one of those, that's awesome, we're totally going with that.
My story.
And I'm enjoying this. So, this entire mechanic setup that I had created for this session, we're moving that aside just a little bit to go towards that direction because I hadn't even thought of that crap.
Right, but good rules don't get in the way of that. That's just a good idea.
Well, no, there has been times where narratively the rules should have prevented that from occurring, but that's a really interesting story, so we're going to overlook that.
And that's where the rule of cool comes into play.
Yes, exactly.
We are firm advocates of the rule of cool. Otherwise, synergy never would have happened.
Otherwise, why am I throwing bandoliers of grenades at people and then shooting them?
And I think that pretty much solidifies it. With that,
that's about as far as we're going to go for Hunter the Vigil. I mean, we could probably go on for another 30 minutes.
Until a bear trap catches us.
On just the New World of Darkness in general, or Chronicles of Darkness as it is.
It's going to be New Worlds of Band time. So that, good night.
Good game.
Good gaming.
By which we mean don't play New World.
Don't play New World. Hey, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed what you saw.
Let us know. Give us a like and a comment down below.
Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell to make sure you get all notifications from us.
And as always,
good night
and good gaming.